All right, it's 65 Ford Falcon Day today. I'm actually going to do a project on it. Somehow the back tires on the car got worn out. Factory defect, I'm pretty sure. Anyways, I got new tires for it, but I bought exactly the same tires to replace it because the fit in this rear end between the fenders is so perfect. And I'm going to go over in detail what axle is in it, what gears, what the whole setup is in the back end. Every time I work on this car, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go into detail about whatever section I'm working on because the introduction to the car last year was just a hodgepodge of information that was mostly wrong anyway because I didn't really understand the car yet. But now that I've been going through things and learning, I think I can maybe add a little more. Now I got to admit, I was going to run this up to the mechanic, the fellow that I bought it from is a mechanic. I was going to run it up to him and get a few things done, but then I found Ellie's Garage channel on YouTube, and she bought a 65 Ford Falcon when she was 15 and she's now 16 and she's doing all this work on the car herself. And I thought, how am I supposed to pass my car on to someone else to do work on, and yet the 16-year-old's doing all her own work? So I'm gonna have to do my own work. Thanks a lot, Ellie. A little bit disgruntled, but not really. All right, I gotta do a quick repair on the tire machine. Let's go. What are you looking at, rotten kid? I got room to get in on this side now with a 4-way wrench. I'm not going to use an impact on these, and I get a floor jack in underneath at the back, probably right into the center. All right, I kind of like to just loosen the wheel nuts before I put a jack under it. Not like super loose, just a little bit. All right, let's get the jack under there. The jack has a padded like a rubber mount in it, so I wouldn't be scratching. I mean, everything's scratched up under there anyway, but I'm not going to add to it. All right, let's go. Perfect. Both tires are off the ground. I wish I was skinnier. Don't ever want to go under the car. Not on just a jack. Don't rack your knuckles with this. It hurts. Don't let go of the wrench either. See how I'm putting pressure in on it a little bit? Then it won't fall off and risk this thing either hitting the ground and bouncing back or just falling into the paint and ruining your day. He has cut this fender in a little bit, probably just enough to get a tire in and out, but I haven't figured out the trick quite yet. Maybe if I jacked it up on the frame. Well, I'm gonna have to pull the jack out. Okay, I'm gonna get the jack under the frame at the back of the car where the rear leaf shackle hooks on. Now I'm going to remove this rounded rubber bit here because I'd rather have just a flat steel surface on the jack to put this piece of wood as a block. Now I want it up against the leaf spring eye just as a bit of support. Now remember, I'm not lifting this car completely on its own weight. I've got the rear axle up on jack stands, and that tire might actually just fall out of there. See how it's starting to, there, oh, see that? That might even be high enough. Out she goes. Okay, I need to fix this tire machine. When I hit the pedal, it operates. The pedal just won't release the air when you release the pedal. So I think there's a valve on the back. I need to take off a cap, and there's probably a return spring in there that's maybe weak. But also, there's probably a series of O-rings. In fact, I know there is. That probably I should just grease and make them slide in their bore a little bit nicer. Okay, so this is what I'm thinking. The pedal on the other side, when you press it, pushes a rod through and activates some valves in here. Basically, it's just a piston with a bunch of O-rings on it that will make it go through different hoses depending on where the pedal is. And then inside this cap is a spring to push it back. After you've pushed the pedal, release it, the spring pushes it back. Well, it's not going back, so I suspect I'm going to have to pull out the piston and grease up the O-rings. I think it's probably all dry in there. Okay. So there's the spring. Okay. Hello? Hello? There it goes. Okay, I'll just pull it out this way. So yeah, all those O-rings are dry. I'm going to grease them up so they slide in that bore. Alright, I stuck my finger in the tin of white grease and just ran some around each one of these O-rings. Let's just see if I get it the first time. There it goes. Okay, let's put this spring back in here. Okay, done. Let's get some air in this thing and see if it works. Whee! Oh, it's coming off easy. Hop. Okay, just little spring teeth holding that on. Anyone know what that's off? Can you identify that? We're kind of having a little trouble identifying what these rims are off. Very wide trim ring. This style of rim, God, it was used by everybody. There it goes. All right, Let's go over to the tire machine. Alright, let's see if I can get these wheels off. I don't think I need this anymore. Alright, put the valve stem towards you on the machine. Hold it up. Get that guide out a little bit. Drop straight in. Alright, that little guide pin has to stay in place. That keeps the wheel from turning when you run it. Alright, give it a little shot just to make sure it's tight. Let's get the air out of it. Don't lose that. If you don't have your hand on it, when you pull it like that, boom, it's gone. You're never going to find it. Okay, the air's out of it. Let's drop this guy over. Alright, make sure that shoe is in close to the rim, but only on the tire. Hit the foot. Popped over. Alright. Goes. Alright. Where's my hammer? I think it's off. Tire machine's fixed. That used to stick and not come back, but it's coming back immediately now. Bit of hit. I think it might be off. Alright, let's give it some soapy water. Might be out of soapy water. Alright, should be good. Alright. Oh, that's a tight fit here. That is a tight fit. Oops. There we go. Bank. Hammer. Holy. There it goes. I don't think it broke free on the bottom. Break the bead on the bottom again down there. Yeah, that sounded better. There we go. Missed. Oh. Some soapy water on there. See how that goes. Moving. I'm going to give it some help. There it goes. Gives me a little splash. Alright, it's off. Let's see what the rim looks like. No rust. Nice and clean. I don't need to grind that. There's no rust on it at all, just paint. It's in good shape. But this weight has to go now because the new tires won't be, won't be right. There it goes on the floor. when we were kids, we would have put the white walls out, get those white letters. They're blue now, but you know, you clean them off and they'd be white. You like to see them rotating around, but this wheel package with the big trim rings in the center looks good with black walls out. So that's how they're going. Alright, this can be a little tricky, but it's doable. And she's going tight. Gotta get it right down in the narrow part of the rim, as far around to the back as you can, away from the tool. Hold it down. This machine has lost some of its power over the years. It's probably from like the 60s. We'll give it some help. Next. Try to get it low, way over here. Way over here. And then pound it here so it doesn't. Oh, that's not good. It didn't stay low, so this is going to be tricky. These, you know, in the old days, the bias ply tires were really flimsy and they're really easy to hold down into the narrow part of the rim. Haven't got this one figured out quite yet. Pull it back on. Oh, it went ahead and sealed itself to the bottom, so I'm going to have to unseal it. There we go. We'll reach in and grab an old valve stem that fell down through there. Alright, let's try that again. Sure, modern machines have more power than this one. How am I gonna do this? Nope, not even close. I hated when radials came along. They were just so much harder to do. Doubt it. This hammer's garbage. I got another one. There it goes. Okay. Just crank some air into it. The second pedal on the floor down there is for air to this line. Also, if you push it all the way down, it will blow a ring of air around the bottom of the rim. If you're having trouble sealing the tire, these are having no problem sealing. I don't use rubber goop on the tires. I don't yet that goo stuff that you brush on. I don't use that. I find I just have this bad feeling that it's going to break down after a year or two and cause little leaks around the rim. I'd rather a nice seal of the new tire against the painted rim. This tire, the old ones definitely didn't have any tire goop on them. They went straight on. All right, there she goes. See what we got for pressure now that it popped on. I think I want 32 pounds. I know it was 32 pounds back in the day. This machine had a pressure gauge on it, but the needle's missing, and I don't even know if that's turning. Haven't messed with it. I just use a tire gauge. So I see 20, now I see 30, and I see 32. We're good. I'll give it a little pass with the brush on the around the rim here. See if I see any bubbles. Gonna need to mix up some more soapy water. So far none. Drop some into the valve stem and down around the valve stem where it goes through the rim. You can't see that, I don't think, but I can. There'd be bubbles popping up. If this rim was leaking, there'd be tiny little bubbles all around the edge. Right now, all I see is just water sitting there. Soapy water. Looks good. Gonna put the valve cap back on. I'm gonna flip this over. Trying to keep it away from me so I don't get so dirty. It's such a dirty job. Go all the way around. All right, maybe. I don't know if that camera will see it, but you can see the dirty water all the way around the edge with not a single bubble coming out. Not even a tiny one. No leaks. Now, I do have a balancer. Again, I'm going to try to stay clean. Alright, it centers it up on a cone underneath, and you know, that's not too bad. That bubble is almost dead center. I'm going to drop a weight on it. Yep, that's going good. That's on nice and tight. Alright, let's see how we do. Alright, let's get this back on the car. Okay, brakes on this thing. You'll see you've got disc brakes on the back. These came from a Lincoln, you know, in the 2000 range, 2000, 2001 era. I think maybe probably a Lincoln Town Car. Now there's no parking brakes on this right now, and in the theme of kind of hot rodding this thing, I'm not going to hook up the hub style emergency brakes in this. I have it in the trunk. I'm going to attach it to the pinion in there. I have a disc, so it's going to be like a hot rod parking brake with its own caliper that attaches right to the pinion of the rear end. I'll do a video on that when I get there. Let's get this tire back on here. All right, I think no. Yeah, this time I'm going to put the trim ring and the center cone on after. I'm going to put the wheel on first and pop them on the car. There it goes. There she goes. Okay. Now, I'm not gonna crank on these yet because it's just turning gear on gear in there. I want the tires on the ground to snug them up, but they're good enough to drop the car. I'm gonna go do the other tire first, and then when I drop the car, I can do them both. Nice. Dandy. Okay. Oops. That's off. 32. We're good. Okay, I should be able to snag those out of there. Again, not going under the car to get them. Okay, these are steel wheels, so I probably won't have to retorque them, but I'll check them again at some point after putting some miles on them. Aluminum rims, absolutely have to check. I'm done. Let's get a rubber mallet and put these trim rings back on. There it goes. You want to go bananas on it. There we go. One down, other one to go. There we go. Good. All right, here I am jammed under the car. I was pretty sure I had more room than this under here, but I don't. Okay, so what we have going on under here is a 9-inch rear end. I believe, we're not actually positive what the housing is out of. Probably something in the 70s. And then the gears put in there 3 1/4 to 1. And it has a Detroit True Track, I think it's called. Detroit. Whoa, what just happened? Detroit. Whoa, what just happened? Oh, interesting. Camera's still going. It's going to be curious to see what that looked like, tumbling down from 6 feet high onto a concrete floor, but it's still working, so. Now, I asked the seller if these the tubes have been cut to fit the car, and he said no. He just didn't know what this housing is out of. But he does know what brakes are put on there and rotors, because he put them on out of a wrecker. He found himself a Lincoln Town Car, I believe it is. And I suspect they bolted right up to the flanges. And with this wheel and tire combination, we end up with a perfect fit between these fenders. There's a little bit of machining done to the fender lip, just to make sure. So to get that 1/2 inch, for the safety, I have to run these brake lines into the mounts. Actually, there's already mounts on the housing. I thought I was going to have to weld those tabs. I might be able to straighten this line out and get it into the existing holder, the existing tab that's already welded to the housing. Otherwise, the little tabs that the brake lines are connected to there, I need to do a tack weld onto the housing. So I may just do that, and then I'm good for the safety. What else is there to know? Okay, so the tire, I'll post up the things here that you need to know. I'm going to try getting a tape measurement underneath here. I'm not really sure how to do that. I can see the flange on the right side there. You'll see the bolt head that's holding the caliper on. So the caliper mount, you'll see the caliper mount bolted to the outside of the axle tube flange. And then he used the dust shield from the Lincoln and the rotor, and of course the caliper. So this whole routine measured up perfectly to fit between these fenders. I'm going to try to get a measurement across this thing, flange to flange, somehow. So if I just butt this tape measure up to the caliper bracket, that would represent the outer face of the axle flange. Now, if I just pick a spot on this, where sort of where my finger is, how about that scrape down the center of the differential housing? 28 inches. All right, 28 inches. Now let's add that to the same measurement on this side. Okay, I'm going to butt the tape measure up to the caliper bracket, which is the outside face of the housing, of the axle housing on the driver's side. And I'm not quite 25 inches to the same mark. I'd say I'm 24 3/4. Okay, so let's add those two up. What was it, 28 and 24 3/4 is 52 3/4. All right, to measure fender to fender inside the fender well to see what maximum width we can put outside tire, you want a plumb bob. And so just go get your plumb bob. It's probably in your garden as a garden ornament, correct? I mean, that's where everybody keeps their plumb bob. All right, so let's go. Okay, let's just take our plumb bob here and string it down from the inner lip of the fender. Okay, and I have a marker to put a dot on the floor. There we go. Okay, dot. And I'll go do the other side. Okay, let's measure between the dots. Okay, the mark is right there, and it's exactly 69 inches. Done. Okay, folks, so from Ontario, cheers, eh?